Put through by Greenhoff. Jones is after it. Pearson shot goal.
Welcome to this special Christmas edition of The Big Match. And what a star lineup we have for you today. John Cleese, who is here to provide a rather special match report for us. And Peter Cook, who joins us as a Spurs fan and tells why he never sees them score. And as I promised last week, special skills from two very special guests. And of course our Christmas show wouldn't be complete without one of those ITV fun spots, and that comes up later on. But we live each week by the quality of the football we can bring you. And today a superb match as Tottenham face Crystal Palace. That's from the second division. And we back it up with first division action as Liverpool meet QPR and Leeds United face Manchester City. But first we make our way to White Hart Lane, Spurs against Crystal Palace, and a big day for one young man. Terry Fenwick is just 18 and today makes his first league appearance for Crystal Palace, and it's not the easiest of games for him, but clearly Terry Venables goes by that old football saying that if he's good enough, then he's old enough. This Palace side disrupted by a midweek injury to Vince Hilaire and the continued absence of defender Ian Evans, of course, who had a setback since breaking his leg. It's now in plaster again for another month. Phil Holder playing against his old club Tottenham. As for Spurs themselves, they of course have Peter Taylor playing against his old Crystal Palace teammates. But today Tottenham without defender Jim Holmes, he's injured, and Don McAllister takes his place at number 3. The referee today is Malcolm Sinclair. He comes from Guildford, and now the crowd are hoping for some early Christmas cheer. So Palace kick off. They've got the red and blue stripes and white shorts. Tottenham in white. Tony Burns getting an early touch there for Crystal Palace. Palace who came here in 1972, the last time they played in the league. Then the Spurs won 2-1. In fact, that day in 1972, only 3 players from the 22 on the field that day survived the day. And they're all Tottenham players: Pratt, Naylor and Perriman. And of course, it's quite a comeback day for the Crystal Palace manager, Terry Venables. There he is, a Tottenham player of some distinction, of course, for a number of years. Hurst right in there. And Perriman again, tidying up well. Palace getting the ball back once more until Terry Naylor once again got in there for Tottenham Hotspur, but it's a throw for Palace. And Sanson with it. Paul Hinshelwood's come up well into that Tottenham penalty area. Good long throw by the youngster Hinshelwood. But it was always going to be Barry Danger's ball. Shot in the back of Colindi by Jim Cannon, a free kick to Tottenham. So Perriman with the kick for Tottenham. High towards Colin Lee, won it well in the air. Oh, and a great goal by Holland! 3 minutes gone, a great breakthrough for Tottenham. Well, Colin Lee, who began his career at Tottenham scoring 4 goals in one game, has now become a maker of goals. He did it last week and he's done it again now. A tremendous lead by him. And there was Hobble catching it beautifully on the volley. Spurs 1, Crystal Palace 0, with 3 minutes gone. Glenn Hoddle the scorer. Duncan. Nab. And what a noise there is here now. Pratt, in fact, Malcolm Sinclair having a quick word there with Neil McNabb for a foul on a Crystal Palace player. Palace with the free kick. Now it's Harkouk. Sanson. Cook. Spurs, who won the game a month ago at Selhurst Park, 2-1. Oh, and a great goal there now, and it made it 1-1. David Swindlehurst, the man, but a linesman is flagging on the far side. That will not count. Well, David Swindlehurst thought that he'd got Palace on level terms there. He's not scored since September, but he met that ball beautifully, but the linesman was unhappy with it. It must have been offside, and the goal does not count. Just glancing it on, Nicholas. Hinchelwood. Well, that was Lee's determination that forced that error out of Paul Hinchelwood, and here's McAllister. A little touch this time for John Pratt. That should be Tony Burns' ball. And now it's with Barry Silkman. Good run by Chatterton from that throw, and he's put him right in. And a great save. And a goal! And this time Swindlehurst has got one that does count. Chatterton's shot. And it was saved by Barry Daines as he came out. And it fell for Swindlehurst. Not an easy ball for him to control, but he put it in the back of the net there. And that brings it to 1-1. So there's David Swindlehurst, his first goal since September, and the second time he's had the ball in the net here at Tottenham this afternoon. The first one ruled out. Barry Daines knocked out of him a little bit, I think. Hinchelwood. Hooks right in there. They're making some good runs from deep at the moment at Palace. It was, of course, Chatterton's run from deep for that throw that led to the goal. Hinchelwood made one there. There's a foul by Swindlehurst on McNabb. A free kick to Tottenham. McAllister. Pratt. Good play by Tottenham here. Hoddle crosses a lovely ball in there. Duncan was right in there. Pratt is right in there. Taylor there. Oh, just box. Beautiful move there. Always stretched from the moment Glenn Hoddle got that crossing. Duncan was right in there, and the ball eventually came out to Peter Taylor, caught it on the volley, difficult angle, and it goes for a corner. Which Taylor himself will take. McAllister's made a run, and a late one, and Burns never for a moment took his eye off the ball. That's a good throw too. Cook being pursued by John Pratt. Look at Chatterton's run again from deep, and Naylor getting back very quickly. Must say Chatterton has looked very impressive indeed. That's 2 or 3 tremendous runs from deep that he's made, and of course it was his run from the throw that led to the goal. Osgood planting it forward. Duncan right up there, getting a very little change in the air from a fellow Scot, Jim Cannon, at the moment. But here's Peter Taylor for Tottenham again. This time the cross coming in. This time Duncan did get his head to it, but didn't quite get the angle he wanted. Applause all around the ground for that move. For Taylor's good cross. Duncan getting in there. I don't think he'll be entirely happy with that header, though. Topsy-turvy game so far for the managers to suffer. Terry Venables there. Perryman for Tottenham. Hoddle allowing it to go through now for Osgood. Chipping again towards Duncan. Cannon shoved him off the wall there. Inside the box. But the Referee said there was no foul. Hoddle again, chipping it through once more. Cannon again, whacking it away to the safety of touch. Lee. Dealing roughly with him. This has gone twice or three times, in fact, but it's a free kick to Tottenham. Peter Taylor already across to take it. Colin Lee going to where he might be able to use his head to good effect. Duncan making a run towards the near post. They're all in there! Oh, and Hotspur has done it again! And pointing to the bench, I've done it with my head and it doesn't happen often. But what a beautiful header that was, as Duncan took one or two players with him towards the near post, and Hoddle was steaming in behind him with a glorious header. Spurs 2, Crystal Palace 1. Well, Ron Greenwood's talking about some youngsters in the pipeline who in 2 or 3 years' time are going to take their place where it matters for England, and I think a lot of people would agree that Glenn Hoddle must have been one of those youngsters he's got in mind. Boy from Harlow. Free kick to Crystal Palace. Hinchelwood, Pratt jumping well. Here's Lee. Hinchelwood in again quickly. Well, a free kick to Tottenham. Used to be a forward, Paul Hinchelwood, but he's in fact turned into a good and aggressive defender. McAllister with the kick. High towards John Duncan. Terry Fenwick getting that one away. Hoddle. Naylor. John Pratt doing a dummy. Phil Holder not buying it. Taylor. Hoddle. Delicate touch on there. Naylor, what a good cross. What a good move. Ending with Duncan putting it over the bar, but a lovely build-up by Tottenham. Real one-touch and ambitious stuff at that. Lovely little threesome down in the corner there that led to that cross. Harcook. Sanson. Here's Perryman again. Peter Taylor. Oh, went past his man there quite easily. Harcook. Now McAllister. Here's McNabb. Spurs plunging men forward again. Taylor on this side. A little chip there. McNabb knew that was coming. Precious little room. Very nearly got it through, and he has in fact got it through. And now McAllister. Oh, that's the post. You could read his thoughts there. He suddenly saw that opening for him. He took careful aim. I thought for a moment it was going to go in off the post. But for Don McAllister, disappointment. It came back out again. Perryman. Taylor. Well, easy always to see afterwards. Advantage might have been played there, but Taylor certainly taking advantage of this and called for a very good save. Lee just wide. Well, it very nearly came off for Tottenham. After all, Taylor going through there, really letting fly with that left foot. And in fact, Tony Burns did well to be big enough to stop it. The ball bouncing out to Colin Lee and just wide. 2.5 minutes to go to half-time now. Barry Daines with the kick. Duncan. Hoddle again. John Pratt moving it in for Don McAllister. That's a good cross. Duncan was there with a header a fraction too high for him. Lee was just behind. Oh! And Peter Taylor's overhead, cannoning off a Palace defender. Good cross by McAllister though. Just too high for Duncan. So John Pratt with the corner for Tottenham. They're all steaming in there again. Lee among them. Here's Osgood. Now, a chance maybe to cross that again. That's a dangerous looking cross once more. McAllister in there. Kicked off the line. Well, it was Paul Hinchelwood who rescued Crystal Palace there. McAllister in that crowded area, but Spurs are threatening again. In that crowded area, an offside against Rashid Harcourt. Now let's have a look at that one again. In that crowded area, it was Don McAllister who looked as though he was on the way to scoring goal number 3 until Paul Hinchelwood was right on the line to hack it away. Jim Cannon. Chatterton. Perryman. Oh, what a beautiful covering job again by Steve Perryman. Play on, said the referee, and he's absolutely right. Well, Harcourt now, but there's a bit of nonsense over there, a bit of giving a free kick to Crystal Palace. A foul by Steve Perryman. Certainly it appeared to be a trip on Peter Taylor, but it looked like one of those clashes where it was totally accidental. And it's a free kick which either Barry Silkman or Phil Holder will take for Crystal Palace. Right, the last seconds of the first half. In fact, referee Malcolm Sinclair just looked at his watch. Swindlehurst, and a goal! Well, he's got his second one as well. And Palace, who've been under the whip for so long, as Spurs have turned on the style, have now come whipping back with that header by Dave Swindlehurst. In she goes, wide of Barry Daines. There are boos for the referee, Malcolm Sinclair, for not stopping the game when Peter Taylor was brought down. And everything now has swung back to give Crystal Palace a chance. So, right on half-time, a controversial equaliser. And Osgood, as the whistle goes. Glenn Hoddle, absolutely brilliant for Tottenham, scoring both their goals. One in the 3rd minute and one in the 21st. Dave Swindlehurst, in fact, scoring 2 for Crystal Palace in the 11th minute and right on half-time. Fancy we're going to have a tremendous second half in this second division game here at White Hart Lane. With a half-time score then, Spurs 2, Crystal Palace 2. We'll be right back with that second half. To White Hart Lane after an excellent first half, shared at 2-2, and now Spurs attacking the goal to our right. Osgood finding it there towards John Pratt. Ian Evans on the right there is the man really they're missing badly in this Palace defence since that injury. Jerry Murphy, the substitute in the centre, with Terry Venables, the manager, on the left. And a free kick now to Tottenham, the foul by Cannon on Lee. And Terry Naylor with the free kick. Duncan's again waiting in the middle. It's Peter Taylor, in fact, who floats it in there towards Duncan, and Nicholas got nicely behind that one for Palace. McNabb. Perryman. Chipped in again. Look at Hoddle leading the charge there. Duncan ran in there too. And Hoddle, what a lovely little chip. They're all getting up for that one. And in the end, it's Cannon and Hinchelwood who got it away. Again, beautiful example of Hoddle's thinking. Beautifully played little chip in there. And it just wouldn't go for Tottenham. Ken Sansom. Swindlehurst. Silkman. Yes, he was having a little... Well, I'm astonished at that. I would have thought, if anything, that had to be the other way. That looked to me as though Silkman was having a little go at Terry Naylor. Malcolm Sinclair said no. And it's Palace who get the free kick. So, the man in black is not the most popular man at White Hart Lane at the moment. Chatterton, Swindlehurst, crossed in again and a go by, and Harcourt was right in there. As that ball came in, certainly Harcourt flung himself at it. It's Peter Nicholas down injured. Crystal Palace physiotherapist Charlie Simpson coming on as well to see what the problem is here with Peter Nicholas, who in fact broke his leg about 2 months ago, and in fact has only had it out of plaster about a month, and I think it looks as though the stretcher is going to come on for poor young Peter Nicholas. That'll be a terrible blow for the youngster, and Jerry Murphy is coming on. Holder, Silkman, Murphy. Oh, well stopped by Peter Taylor. Colony right up. Duncan on the far side, but Taylor's run up a little bit of a blind alley there. Now, can he cut back? There's the simple ball to Hoddle. McNabb. And cut out by Swindlehurst. Perryman's little touch to Osgood. Lee back for Pratt. Sanson away. Hoddle. Oh, bad luck there for John Pratt. Good heavens, that was a tremendous shot. Thought for a moment it was going over, but it went whistling past Tony Burns against that crossbar. Hinchelwood. Throw by Hoddle. Duncan trying in vain to get that extra inch or two to beat Hinchelwood. He couldn't do it. But it's a corner for Tottenham. With about 20 minutes to go now. Well, that time McAllister had made his run, but the ball didn't come anywhere near him. Here's Osgood instead, though. Crossing that back in well. Lee was up there, Sanson getting it away. Naylor carefully and skillfully nodding it wide there for John Pratt. Cross coming in once more. And Silkman, the only Palace man up, except that Harcourt is right up there with him now. Murphy's getting up too. That's the one played by Silkman for Harcourt. And it's... Oh, thought for a moment it was the goal that Crystal Palace were looking for. Silkman did well to break out there and found Harkouk well. Thought it was a goal there, but it went just wide. Taylor. Good crossing again. Hoddle was leading them all again, and I think they've got a corner. Yes, Spurs have a corner. Taylor with a header. Well. He'll be very annoyed that he didn't put one in against his old teammates there. I think it was Hoddle at the near post who glided that header on. Taylor with a good chance, putting it over the top. Cannon. Peter Taylor. Oh, goodness. Going up to have a word, I think, with the goalkeeper, Tony Burns, because Taylor hit that well. And I think Tony Burns, well, I thought he'd mussed it up for a moment, but he just got enough on it to get it wide of the post. And Duncan over with the header, and Palace can breathe again. Swindlehurst, Chatterton, and the final whistle goes. It's a 2-2 draw, and certainly Terry Venables will be delighted, I would have thought, and certainly very satisfied with the point that Crystal Palace have got here, having come to visit his old club. 2 goals by Glenn Hoddle, and 2 by David Swindlehurst, all of them in the first half. Bring us a final score then at White Hart Lane. That reads Spurs 2, Crystal Palace 2.
Well, to bring you right up to date, the young Palace defender Peter Nicholas, who was carried off in the second half there, has no more than a kick on the ankle that he broke 2 months ago, so very happily that wasn't as serious as we at first feared. But what about the 2 controversial moments in that game? First was David Swindlehurst offside when he had the ball in the net for Palace soon after the start. Here's Rashid Harkouk being pursued by Neil McNabb. Whips in a good cross there in front of the front men. Now, as we stop it here, David Swindlehurst, in fact, is in an offside position. He's certainly level with Keith Osgood there. I suppose what we have to ask ourselves is whether he made a late run from an onside position. But I think in those situations, from that angle, you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the linesman. But what about the other controversial incident right on half-time when Jim Cannon fouled Peter Taylor, and from that Spurs got, or rather Palace got an equalising goal. There's Peter Taylor going for the ball, Cannon going behind him. What's in Cannon's mind? Did he intend to foul Peter Taylor? I can't help feeling that with Taylor coming up so fast behind, he could hardly have known that the man was there. I thought first off that the referee was absolutely right to allow the game to go on. But when it goes on, Terry Naylor, who'd had such a good season for Tottenham, I think lost his head a little bit there, pulling Barry Silkman back. Really, there was no danger and no need for that. And that time there was a free kick given to Crystal Palace, and from it David Swindlehurst did get an equalising goal. Well, before we left White Hart Lane yesterday, we managed to get the views of a typical Tottenham supporter, though you may recognise him as Peter Cook. How is it that Spurs scored only twice yesterday?
It's basically my fault, because last time I was here we scored 9 goals, and I was in the toilet for all 9. And I built up a superstition. Every time I went to the toilet, we'd score. And this time I only went to the toilet twice, because I hadn't had so much, and we only got 2. But that's football, as they say, isn't it? I went to the toilet, actually. It's not football at all. There was a lot of jostling in the toilet. I had 3 penalties I should have had. Right fouls from behind, you know, over the top, under the bottom, in fact. I didn't see much of the game. I was stuck in the toilet, waiting for a goal.
So you didn't see any chances that Tottenham missed?
Yeah, I saw about 58 chances that Tottenham, well, I didn't miss so much as Palace players, with typical disrespect to the ground, come in and getting away. There's a lot of lanky lads from Palace, under the direction of Venables, who's picked up all his tricks here. Like that throw-in he he directed that throw-in which they gave. It landed on a Palace player's foot, and he bunged it in the goal, which is very distasteful to a Spurs fan. And another time, Peter Taylor got fouled, and the Spurs players naturally stopped to converse and talk about the meaning of life. And some from Palace took the ball and went and kicked it in the net. I mean, that's not the way to play football.
You're also, there's also a lot of talk about you fellas at Tottenham amalgamating with Arsenal in a brand new stadium at Alexandra Palace.
No chance of that, Brian. What, you mean the two
Sharing
teams
the same ground?
Share the same ground? And what do you do about the pong?
What pong?
The pong from the Arsenal supporters. I mean, when Arsenal come here, it takes 2 weeks with a lot of Ajax and Brute to get rid of the whiff. It's an appalling whiff. There's no two ways that Arsenal crowd and Tottenham crowd could live together.
The outstanding views of Peter Cook. I don't think the Arsenal fans would agree with a word of it, though. Time for our second match now on our Christmas show. And for that we go north for the clash between Leeds United and Manchester City. The match was covered by Yorkshire Television, the commentator's Martin Tyler. Leeds are in white.
Two in the wall. For McQueen, turned away by Watson. Madeley. And McQueen is onside and scores! Gordon McQueen. Well, it was McQueen who provided the initial threat. That time Watson got it away, but when Madeley knocked it forward, McQueen was adjudged onside as they pushed out, and the left-footed volley past Joe Corrigan, 1-0 to Leeds. Paul Power with the throw. And now Chewett, faced by McQueen, sending it up for Gary Owen, and it was deflected. Chewett initially having a little bit of room, selflessly laying it off for Owen, and his shot deflected behind. Hartford pushed out by Harvey, although he couldn't have seen all of it, with Kidd masking his view. This was the effort from Hartford, and as you can see, it was Kidd who masked Harvey's view, but he did brilliantly to keep it out. Touch from Curry, sending Graham away. Flynn and Hankin wait in the middle. Hankin! Well, he didn't hit it cleanly, and he'll be disappointed with that. But the miss kick looked for a second as though it would find a way past Corrigan. The pacey run from Graham, rather slapped in by Hankin. Brilliant reactions from Corrigan. Reaney. Harris again. It's a little bit static in the middle. The cross comes in. And it will fall for Graham, and Clements gets back. Graham perhaps caught in two minds. The cross reaching him on the far side, and in the end he tried to dink it back in again. Shannon, and it's 2 against 2 with Power up in support. This is Paul Power. And brought down by Harvey. No foul. Shannon is convinced he's got a penalty. Well, Mr. Reeves was pretty close to the incident. Certainly, as Power took it up, he seemed to have got the ball past Harvey. There was the collision. No penalty, said the referee. Curry doing some useful hurdling to keep out of trouble, but gets a throw. In for Graham. Taken up by Flynn, left for Curry. Cross coming for Cherry. Oh, Trevor Cherry doesn't get too many with his head, but that was perfectly placed. He timed his run beautifully. It went over Hankin, and there's Cherry, a flick of the forehead, It's past Corrigan off the post.
A 2-0 victory for Leeds United, and those two clubs in fact meet again in the third round of the Cup at Elland Road on January the 7th. Indeed, we stay in the north now for a very special match report, the game between Manchester Rovers and Sheffield Thursday. So let's go across and join our reporter waiting at the ground.
We had a great game here at Grudgeow this afternoon when Manchester Rovers thrashed Sheffield Thursday by 2-1 in the kind of game to set your blood a-pulsing. Thursday started fast and tough, and under-23 international Arnold Fitch went close with a grand 20-yard left-foot-off volley after a spot of London Palladium-type ball juggling by majestic £42,000 right-winger Ernie, newly signed from Pompey and doing very nicely too, thank you. But Rovers took the lead when the educated feet of tricky 5'2", ball-playing, bow-legged ex-commander, £110,000 inside right, Cyril Overcraft Wackett beat two men and lamed a third before laying on the kind of chance Ted Buzzard don't miss. But Thursday equalised through skipper for Dave Cards, also goal penalty, Arsenal awarded against Ginger Tuck for gouging. In second half, play got a bit rough, and after a nasty goal-mouth incident which made the Battle of Britain look like an afternoon tea party, Rovers hard-tackling ex-bricklayer right-half Vince Spratt was badly bitten, and Sid Ironman Hawkins had to leave field with loss of memory, while Flaxen-haired, top of the Football League scoring list, Alf Snakehips Ransbottom got his marching orders from referee Bartley of Billingham. But Rovers were well on top, and their £3.5 million star-studded Bank of England forward line of Bun, Wackett, Buzzard, Stubble and Boot tore great holes in Rovers' defence before in 86 minute ace sharpshooter Bobby Cannonball Stubble magicked his way past Thursday defence before slamming a great 20-yarder past concussed Thursday goalie Lofty Crab with his fractured left foot. And now I return you to Brownmoor in London.
The brilliant John Cleese there, and I think anybody who reports the game will recognise quite a few of those cliches there. I think he's got quite a future in world of sport, actually. From a reporter now who stands at something, what, 7'9", to a couple of players who are much closer to the ground. Their names are Chumley and Barraclough, and all eyes now are on the tunnel. Now it's Liverpool against Queen's Park Rangers, and making his first appearance for Rangers, of course, defender Ernie Howe, signed from Fulham during the week. The pictures come from Granada Television. The commentator's Gerald Sinstadt. Rangers are in the hoops.
Struggling to pick up where his teammates are going to be in positions like this. Case with the corner. Thompson meeting it at the near post, but to no advantage. Dermot trying to give it back to him. Neil to Case. Dalglish challenging for Fairclough to score. No! Against the post, and Howe turned it back to Richardson. David Fairclough almost getting a goal in the second minute of the game from the corner, and the shot came back off the post. Francis, Givens, Thompson arriving and catching Givens. Didn't get the ball at all. Shanks to Wallace. And Wallace tries a shot that hits Hughes. Kennedy trying a quick ball for Dalglish to chase. Dalglish goes down. Penalty? Yes. Some dispute by the Queen's Park Rangers players, but it did seem that Howe allowed himself to be trapped into an error there, found Dalglish on the goal side of him and brought him down. O'Neill has scored twice from the penalty spot this season. Indeed, he's missed only once in the 3 years that he has been with Liverpool. Phil Neal versus Derek Richardson, 1-0. Phil Neal, a very economical, no-frills penalty taker. Just steps up, bang, low, goalkeeper no chance. Thompson and Williams. Tremendous work by Ray Clements. And he looked at Thompson and told him just what he thought. The pass back was not very hard. Williams was herring onto it, and Clements had to make a save at a range that must have been feet rather than yards. Callaghan. Neal finding Dalglish. McDermott, Case. McDermott again. It's come out to Fairclough. And Case lost his balance after Richardson had beaten it down. Fairclough's was the shot. Richardson hurled himself to his left, and suddenly the ground was fading away under Jimmy Case's feet, and the chance was lost. And the thought must be in Queen's Park Rangers' minds that they could still poach something from this. Williams. And here's Givens. Pulled across, and an amazing save by Clements. Offside was given. But really, how Clements got a hand to that. I think it must have been just about the first touch of the game by Busby. As it was fired across by Givens, Busby met it, and somehow or other Clements got down. Cunningham. McDermott to Neal. And still not a good clearance. McDermott, and Richardson was down very fast for that. And the clearance came out. McDermott hit it straight back in, and Richardson got across very well.
And it finished in a 1-0 defeat for Queen's Park Rangers, so that really wasn't much of a Christmas present for them. But here's one for all of you now, as we bring you our fun spot for Christmas 1977.
He's so hunky.
I'm walking backwards for Christmas across the Irish Sea. I'm walking backwards for Christmas. It's the only thing for me.
Okay, man, let's tread boldly.
I'm like a rubber ball, baby, that's all that I am to you. Just a rubber ball, cause you think you can be true to two. You lay back in the arms of someone, you give in to the charms of someone, you lay back in the arms of someone you love. I don't need to have you near me, I need to feel you close to me.
From all of us then on the big match, we do hope you have a really happy Christmas.